Good morning, golfers. Welcome to Finding Fairways on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY, our YouTube and Facebook pages. Brought to us by BoyneGolf.com. Jerry Coyne is Zooming with Lynn Henning, longtime sports writer for the Detroit News. Lynn, mostly known for his baseball coverage, but you covered golf for just as long at the News, didn't you, Lynn?
That's right. And really, Jerry, I go all the way back to when I broke in sports writing, at least from a job standpoint in '74. One of my first assignments was covering the Michigan Open down in Battle Creek, because I worked for the Battle Creek Inquirer as my first job before I went to the Lansing State Journal and then on to the Detroit News. But the Michigan Open, of course, back then was played at Bedford Valley in Battle Creek every single year. So I covered that when Lynn Jansen and Bob Ackerman and some of those guys from the 70s were definitely in prominence then. And then, I've covered, of course, I went and I was editor of the PGA's National Golf Magazine for 5 years.
Wow.
That's the only time I was away from newspapers, which was from '88 to '93. And so I was very much steeped, obviously, in golf for those years too, and covered plenty of it through the years at all these different stops that I've made.
Going back to the Michigan Open, did the Hill brothers used to play in that back in the day?
No, they were still pretty much
tour players.
Tour.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm not sure if after, of course, the championship tour, the senior tour arrived, so they were occupied with that too. But about the only guy that played on tour regularly that ended up playing in the Michigan Open was Randy Erskine after he left his tour. And then, of course, he would win it all the time. But the Hills, to my recollection, didn't play it.
They may have played it before they turned professional.
Yeah.
Like guys like Dan Pohl would play in that before they turned professional. And of course, J.R. Roth very well. J.R. won that event. Well, he and Scotty Hebert both won all those events. Yeah, many, many years. And then, that obviously would put you dead center in the Buick Open and all the majors that happen at Oakland Hills. I don't know what story I guess to ask you first. I guess I will, because the one that I was closest to was the ass kicking that the U.S. team took during the Ryder Cup at Oakland Hills.
That one was bad. And fortunately, though, I had been at the War on the Shore in '91, and if there was one Ryder Cup that you ever wanted to be at, and that was at Kiowa, if you remember.
Sure.
It is that one when Bernard Langer could have won it, or at least halved it there with his putt, 5.5 feet, and Bernard Langer doesn't miss putts. But that one was as much drama as I've ever seen in any single.
Oh, there's no doubt. Changed the whole tenure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you're talking about '04 at Oakland Hills, and the U.S. wasn't even in that thing. But we've seen plenty of years when that was the case.
Well, that was the worst. That was, there's now that Phil Mickelson is in so much trouble, there's a lot of talk about, that leading up to it, he changed to Callaway equipment so that he could pay off some gambling debts, wouldn't stay in the same hotel that the rest of the team was staying in downtown at the Townsend. And obviously the Tiger Woods experiment was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, Mickelson's been unmasked, and nothing that's happened there is a surprise.
Is that true, Lynn? Did you have that feeling about Phil all the years you covered him, that he was a phony?
Candidly, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
And so I again, whatever's happened here and transpired in recent months and years, I'll only say, Jerry, comes as no surprise.
Okay. Well, what about, since we're kind of exposing skeletons, was the womanizing of both Tiger and Phil kind of known, or or not?
Well, it was on Tiger's front. I think to whatever extent Phil might have or might not have, there weren't at least outwardly a lot of suspicions that I was ever party to.
Uh-huh.
But this incident, of course, recently out in California was just really disturbing and appalling. And I mean, for them to have acted as quickly as they did, coming right out onto the course and removing him and saying, "You're finished here." There had to have been some very emotional testimony from the person who alleged all that. And clearly it was more than an allegation, or they wouldn't have acted as quickly as they did. So, again, that's just, but is gambling, is disingenuousness on so many fronts. It just all piled up.
Yeah, it's such a fall from grace. You know, there was always some rumors about Arnold Palmer back in the day. You know, Jacobson used to do that skit about him at member guest that I know you've seen at least a couple of times. But I mean, Arnie was always so about his fans and growing the game and everything else that it was kind of left in the past. And Phil, it just, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody destroy a reputation worse than this guy. It's like not even Babe Ruth or Pete Rose.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Jerry. It's been a disintegration, but when all of this piles up, and these are not just singular anecdotal
right, 100%.
episodes.
Yeah,
the accumulation ends up just finally giving way, and it did in his case. And you know, he's ruined, but he's self-ruined himself.
Lynn Henning joining us here on Finding Fairways. Lynn, you know, talk a little bit about your life in golf. What are some of the biggest stories that you covered, or some of the articles that you wrote that you're most proud of?
I've been fortunate to, of course, have been to the Masters 6 times. You know, covered that. My first real big covering a big sporting event was 1975. I was only, at that point, 9 months into my tenure at the Battle Creek Enquirer. And I knew that, of course, we were a very legitimate daily publication in the state back when newspapers were really big, you know, and they were.
Yeah.
And so I could get a credential anywhere, a legitimate credential anywhere. And what one of my favorite sporting events, if not my favorite, was always the U.S. Open. Well, it was played at Medina that year.
Right.
In Chicago. Okay. So I got a press credential. I was off that weekend and drove to Chicago just to be there for the U.S. Open. And I was following Ben Crenshaw because I would always had a fascination with Crenshaw. He was about my age and had been around already at that point for 5 years. And I'll never forget when he hit the 2-iron on 17 that just fell into the drink, and there went his U.S. Open. That was Lou Graham. And,
Lou Graham, right. His only major.
John Mahaffey ended up in a playoff.
That's right.
And so I went down for Saturday and Sunday. I had to be back at work on Monday. And that was the first time. But I'd also been at 70, Jerry, to back up, when I was in college, I went to the 72 PGA at Oakland Hills.
Right.
And that's where Gary Player hit the 9-iron over the willow tree at 16 to 4 feet and basically won the 72 PGA the year that Nicklaus was going for the Slam.
Yep.
And he had just, of course, lost that opportunity at the British Open by a little bit to Trevino. But those things early were big. Now, there were also other moments. I was at PGA Magazine in '92 at the Shoal Creek drama over them not allowing in a black member.
Integrating the golf club, yeah.
And the PGA was within about 24 hours of moving the '92 PGA Championship to Muirfield.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were that close. And then Shoal Creek gave in and integrated their membership. And that was a big, big, big story. And also, I was there in '91 at Crooked Stick when a kid named John Daly arrived. So now that you've asked that question, I go back and back and back, and I'm thinking, boy, I was fortunate.
We'll give you a couple of minutes to think about a couple as we go to break very quickly. Well, when I come back, I'll tell you my Crooked Stick story, and we'll continue our discussion with A Life in Golf with Lynn Henning when we return on Finding Fairways on Up North Sports Radio. It's time to check in with our good friends at Boyne Golf. T.R. Hollis joining us via Zoom at his office in Petoskey / Harbor Shores. What is that? Is the address actually Petoskey?
Yeah, right by Bay Harbor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The the weather just stays fantastic. It's almost perfect, TR. It only rains at night lately.
I know. We're lucky. Yeah. So good sprinkles, but it keeps the course beautiful.
I know that we're recording this on Wednesday. The Tournament of Champions is finishing up. A solid field, a great pro-am. I talked to a couple of guys that played in it. It's just one of those things that only Boyne can pull off.
It is such a special event, and I know I've played in the pro-am quite a few times. What a cool event to host clients, play with family. It's a can't miss event.
But the amazing thing is that because you have 11 dynamic golf courses, it doesn't matter what events you're putting on. There's plenty of tee space everywhere.
Oh, it is. I know you can't go wrong with any of our 11 great courses, and get out here and play them for yourself. It's the easiest thing to sell in the world. It's an incredible experience regardless of where you play here.
I don't want to talk about it yet, but because it's going to be here faster than we think. Fall golf.
Yes.
The courses thin out just a little bit. Some of the golf trips kind of get pushed to the side. It's a great time to go on BoyneGolf.com and start looking at what might be available for an end of the season golf trip.
Yeah, we're filling up, but still have open availability across our courses. I know I'm maybe biased, but I love fall golf even more than summer golf. So it's also a can't miss time to get up here, enjoy the beautiful colors, and plan your trip as far in advance as you can.
That's why you replaced Ken, because that's all Ken and I would talk about. Well, number one, our job gets a slightly easier, and we get a chance to play the golf courses. But man, when the colors are changing at Boyne with those vistas, it's the best time to play.
It is. You really can't beat it. Absolutely gorgeous out here.
TR, how do we book these great memory building events?
Everything at BoyneGolf.com. Tee times, academy, plan your trip, BoyneGolf.com.
Maybe even TR Hollis will play this year.
I know. We'll see. Have to sneak out there at least once.
All right. We'll see you next week, my friend.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right. There we go.
Imagine your ultimate golf experience. There's a good chance it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. 11 spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, varied in both topography and play. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025, and the Highlands at Harbor Springs is the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11.
There's a moment on the course when everything lines up. The swing, the contact, the result. That's how we approach real estate. At Dean Bach & Company and at Properties, Christie's International Real Estate Collective, we don't guess, we execute. From Traverse City to Harbor Springs, we cover Michigan's Gold Coast with strategy, reach, and relationships that win. Whether it's a lakefront estate, a Gulf side retreat, or your next move, we put you in position to score.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape every day. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort. Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
Quit wasting time putting around and meet us at Wild Bluff Golf Course in Brimley, Michigan. Wild Bluff is a championship golf course with breathtaking views overlooking Lake Superior, with a full-length driving range, chipping area, and large putting green. Visit our fully stocked pro shop for featured golf apparel and equipment, or come to the loft to wine and dine like a pro. Like us on Facebook or visit baymillscasinos.com for more information. Your fairway to heaven starts here.
Twin Birch Golf Club in Kalkaska is preparing for a spectacular golf season, and you should too. The Twin Birch Clubhouse restaurant has quickly become a local favorite, with a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch menu full of classic favorites, made with the freshest ingredients. See all the affordable membership options at twinbirchgolf.com, or save even more when you purchase Twin Birch Golf at qdealsmi.com. qdealsmi.com. See one of Northern Michigan's greatest golf values at twinbirchgolf.com.
Welcome back to Finding Fairways here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Jerry Coyne Zooming with Lindsay Southwell at Shanty Creek. Good morning, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
It's we are in full-fledged golf season, golf weather. Taping this a couple days before the weekend, and man, the forecast has been really good for golf.
It really has. And the weather forecast for this weekend could not look better. I mean, like 70 degrees, sunny. You can't ask for better golf weather.
And you can have tee times at 7 o'clock and get more than 9 holes in.
Absolutely. I mean, what's better than that? Got to get that last bit of summer in.
Oh, yeah. You had the Michigan Open out there a couple weeks ago at Cedar River, a great tournament, some unbelievable scoring. I mean, I played, you know how I feel about Cedar River. It's my favorite course to play in Northern Michigan.
Right.
And, I'm an okay golfer. And then you see guys putting up 62s there from the tips. How did that happen?
Well, I can't comment on how well they did. But yeah, I mean, the players are super complimentary of the course. Our superintendents did a fantastic job of really bringing it up to championship level. And so we're talking, greens rolling in the double digits. And we're talking immaculate fairways, long cut rough. It really could not have been in better shape. And we certainly heard that from the players. We heard that from the Michigan PGA themselves. And so guests who came a little bit before and a little bit after certainly commented on the challenge of it too. I think the beauty of Cedar River is that it is a very playable course, for golfers like us, right? If you hit it smartly, you get rewarded. Weiskopf did a great job of really doing that in his layout. And you don't have to be a pro to play it. However, the pros playing it did a fantastic job.
Well, the crazy thing is, and it's like that with any professional tournament, you have a few guys that are hot that week. They just torch some golf scores. But then you see a lot of players who've been around that have won major championships in Michigan, struggling to break par. So it's certainly not easy. You're right. It is very playable. The last time I played it, though, we had a pretty decent wind, and some of the holes on the backside, those fairways get pretty tight when the wind's blowing one direction or the other. So
absolutely. And when you add in the river there, makes it even harder because that wind will pull it right in. So, yeah, I mean, the wind can also be very helpful on some of the holes, but not all of them. And, like you said, you got some wide open places where the wind really affects it. Some of those tree lines, which can add that challenge. So you get a big variety on those courses.
Oh, yeah. 14 and 15, the two signature holes there, the wind was coming in that way. And so you can hit driver and not even make it to the bunker on 14. I've always played it that way. No matter what, I always hit it right at the tree. I never hit the ball that straight, so it'll fall one way or the other. What I always tell everybody is don't hit it in that bunker. You cannot make par if you hit it into the bunker underneath the tree, and you can't.
Nope, and I don't have enough power to drive it to the green, so I always take that high road, right? Always, and I'm a natural slicer, so it comes naturally to me.
Anyways, on the par 3, the wind is coming in pretty hard on 15, which is a magnificently beautiful golf hole.
Yes.
And so all the guys, I'm like, you better hit more club than you think here. You got to hit more club anyways than you think. And then I hit like a knockdown 7-iron. Nobody else could even find their golf ball. And I'm like 12 feet. I'm like, I'm just going to keep this under the wind. And the guys are like, after I hit the shot, they're like, you're not that good. I said, no, but I played this hole enough to know that.
You got to play it smart.
You got to play it smart.
Exactly. And that's what I love about Weiskopf. It's smart plays rewarded, not the power play, right?
Well, power can be helpful on a lot of the holes, especially on the front side. Like on number 1, if you can hit it past the ridge, that ball will run down.
You'll get 40 yards. Yeah.
40, 50 yards. And there's a couple of holes like that. 1 and 2 both have those little runoffs. There's a speed slot on number 3 that's pretty cool. So Cedar River is fabulous. But you know what? I tell you what, and you know this probably better than I do. More and more people are really discovering and enjoying Hawkeye.
Absolutely, they are. It has quickly become our second favorite course on property. I think a lot of the geographical layouts kind of mimic Cedar River. They're literally across one tree line from each other. So on the 12th hole of Cedar River, you can look through the woods and see the third green of Hawkeye. That's how close they are. And so I think just geographically that layout where you can, if you play smart, you can get rewarded with those rolls. And so I think that's why, this is up north golf, right? You got the woods, you got the water, you got the undulation, elevation, and both those courses are just packed to the brim with it. And but Hawkeye, one of my favorite courses here on property for sure. It is a course that I feel like you can play it differently every time you play and do well.
Yeah, stay out of the bunkers. Hawkeye has some brutal bunkers.
Yes,
really.
They do.
They really have some tough bunkers. It's my only advice to people. Don't hit it in the bunker. But that kind of leads us to, you guys are rolling back out your deal 90 and 90. We've only talked about 2 of the golf courses, but you can play all 90 holes for $90. Come on.
Yeah, so 90 for 90. We generally do it around the holiday periods because it requires 3 nights of lodging, and then you can play, golf on 5 golf courses, all 5 of our courses. And it's been really popular, but, some people, they have holiday plans, but they still want to take advantage of that golf deal. So we've rolled it back. We'll be starting that in mid-August. And, it's not like a bait and switch.
All the way through Labor Day weekend, I would assume.
All the way through Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And it's not a bait and switch. The lodging is very reasonable. I don't want people to think, you can get, golf for essentially $1 a hole, but then you're paying $400 or $500 a night. That's not how we roll here.
No.
And especially
under
the closer you
$200
get
for almost every room on the hotel. You got a couple of rooms that are over $200 on the weekends, but those are suite level rooms.
Yeah. And so it's really a fantastic deal. If you're looking to get in a good amount of golf on quality courses, you can't find a better deal. There simply isn't a better deal in Michigan. And those who have done the 90 for 90 have really been very happy with it. They're like the first ones to call when it comes back up again, because it's like, I can't get this caliber of golf in this many days.
No, for that rate,
price.
It's insane. And you're also running it during, balloons over Bel Air.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that is an amazing twofer. You go out, play golf. You can see the balloons in the air while you're playing golf.
If you want to do that, or if you want to, you're done with your rounds and you want to be in your room, you can overlook the lake and all the festivities and watch it from your room. And it really is, a spectacular getaway. You can pair the two together, and two unbelievable experiences, right? That much golf and balloons. So, I mean, for me, that's a perfect weekend.
Yeah, it is one of the largest ballooning events in the state of Michigan. And when you put it against the backdrop of the Lakeview Hotel, of Torch Lake and what's the other lake there, hon?
Lake Bel Air, Torch Lake, Intermediate Lake, all the lakes.
It's Lake. And
right.
And what usually about 40 balloons?
Yeah, well, this year looks like more around 20, but even still, to be able to get that up close, that, like you can almost walk like right up to the balloons. That's how close you'll be sitting. So, to get that up close and personal, it's even though there's a lot of people, it's a really intimate event, if you will. And I don't think you can get that many other places.
And every weekend you've got the breakfast buffet to get the golfers packed in their proteins and carbs before they head out. And then on Saturday, the Rich Calkins Memorial Prime Rib Buffet.
Dinner.
I'm actually I have decided I'm doing this. I'm going to get a life-size photo of Rich's head, and I'm putting it in the Lakeview Hotel above the station where he's just looking down on the prime rib.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. And most people go like, who's that? He
It's
actually
Rich's.
died from inhaling too many prime ribs.
He's looking down upon the prime rib.
He's looking down upon us because he didn't go to heaven, but we put him in the prime rib room.
There you go.
Lindsay, how do everybody make those tee times and rooms reservations?
Just go to shantycreek.com.
There you go. Lindsay Southwell, thanks for joining us on Finding Fairways. I'll see you out on the fairways soon.
All right. Thank you.
We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Finding Fairways, brought to us by Wild Bluff Golf Course at Bay Mills Resort and Casino.
Quit wasting time putting around and meet us at Wild Bluff Golf Course in Brimley, Michigan. Wild Bluff is a championship golf course with breathtaking views overlooking Lake Superior, with a full-length driving range, chipping area, and large putting green. Visit our fully stocked pro shop for featured golf apparel and equipment, or come to the loft to wine and dine like a pro. Like us on Facebook or visit baymillscasinos.com for more information. Your fairway to heaven starts here.
Twin Birch Golf Club in Kalkaska is preparing for a spectacular golf season, and you should too. The Twin Birch Clubhouse restaurant has quickly become a local favorite, with a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch menu full of classic favorites, made with the freshest ingredients. See all the affordable membership options at twinbirchgolf.com, or save even more when you purchase Twin Birch Golf at qdealsmi.com. qdealsmi.com. See one of Northern Michigan's greatest golf values at twinbirchgolf.com.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of Northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape every day. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort. Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air, and online at shantycreek.com.
The Iron Pig on Old 27 South across from Otsego Lake is open for breakfast 7 days a week from 8 to 11. Sundays from 8 to 2 with a sumptuous breakfast buffet on the weekends. With golf season open, Iron Pig has room for any size golf group, or bring our delicious menu and legendary barbecue to your group. Either way, the Iron Pig has the team and location to make your up north dining experience truly memorable. Visit Iron Pig Smokehouse on Facebook, where we are always announcing new events and menu additions.
Welcome back to Finding Fairways here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Our YouTube and Facebook page especially, you can go back and see all our video replays of this program. Jerry Coyne Zooming with Kevin McKinley, the director of the First Tee of Northern Michigan. Kev, how's this the season going this year? It's going by fast.
Unbelievable that we are on the cusp of August here, and it is zooming past. We kind of know because our interns that we typically hire, we hired 4 this year, and it's actually increased over the last several years to handle our volume. But gosh, they're about 2 weeks left before they head back to school, and that's how you really know.
I hear you. You know, the first reason why I wanted to get you on is that you have more than 2 weeks left on First Tee. Are there any programs that kids may have been, doing soccer or basketball camps or anything else that can slide into some of your programs before they have to go back to school?
Well, we do have a couple in the month of August, and actually a couple of kind of new ones. So at the Highlands of Harbor Springs in Boyne Highlands, there at the Ross Golf Center and at the Heather, we do camps all year long, and they're sort of rinse repeat type programs where we do a 7 to 9 year old program in the morning, a 10 to 13 year old program in the afternoon, and throughout the summer we do move them around a little bit. Like we do have a one coming up at Birchwood, we have one coming up at Hidden River. We go to Boyne Mountain, that's already happened. But we actually, in August this year, we're going to do a couple of unique things. And one is, and you kind of got to get on this because it's next week already, we are going to do a high school girls golf prep camp. And this is going to take place at the Highlands. And this is for girls. They could be already contributing varsity team members, but kind of who we had in mind with this is kids that maybe are coming out for the first time for a team, or maybe they don't even know if they want to go out for the team, but they need a week to kind of figure out if they can. We see a lot of
idea. I love that idea. Fantastic.
Yeah. We see a lot of girls teams that kind of recruit, right? In order to, they might have 1 or 2 players that play a lot, but then they recruit others to try to join the team. When they do that, sometimes they get into the season and they really don't know the rules, and they really could kind of use a few things about etiquette and such. And so we're going to go over all that in addition to trying to get some skills growth. So that's at the Highlands. It's Monday through Wednesday of next week. And then we're also going to do the following week, the week of the 10th, another 3-day camp there that is going to be a par 3 camp. So we're going to use Dunebray, the par 3 course at the Highlands, and kind of hone in on kids' short games a little bit. They'll be able to hit the driver a little bit on the range in a few of our sessions, but each day we're going to try to get on that Dunebray course and be able to really kind of sharpen those short game skills. And then
get them in the bunkers. Get those kids in the bunkers. Yeah, there you go. That's at that age, either kids really fear them or they just want to get in there and whack away.
Yeah. And then we have a fall league. This is a little bit more invite only because it involves 9 holes each time we join. So we couldn't really have a kid that's a flat out beginner in our fall league program just because they need to be able to carry their bag and walk 9 full holes every single time. So we do a little bit more invite only for that, and that spans mid-August through mid-September. And then it's probably not too early. I don't want to really start talking about winter, but we did get into a new indoor space. I know.
I don't.
I know. But over the winter this year, we are going to have programming in Petoskey at our new indoor space that's right next to Olson's food market there.
Right.
So that, we'll be posting that stuff. I imagine that stuff will get kind of underway in late October. So yeah, we're gonna have things going, right on through the great season and with great outdoor weather, but we're also gonna have an opportunity to be inside all winter.
Going back to the girls camp, prep for girls golf, high school. My daughter Madeline was a hockey player, and her high school golf coach was bugging her to get on the team because they had 2 spots open, and she was an athlete, but she really didn't play golf.
Yep.
And I did a smart move as a dad. I took her out and just kind of talked her through some things, but I wasn't prepared. I learned the hard way. Don't teach your wife, don't teach your kids how to play golf. But that is so smart, because that's exactly what happens at a lot of high schools. You've got a few girls that are playing, but you need a couple of girls to finish out the team.
Yeah, 100%. And we saw it last year with some of the local teams. And so this was on our radar, and we were able to work with Boyne to make sure that it could happen this year. So.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to talk about that for a couple of minutes on our sports show on Friday, because you are running into a window where that's getting pretty close. And I'd like to see some get that class filled out, because, man, as the sport grows, we see how much bigger the emphasis is on women's golf. But you got to start the program, and it starts in high school.
Yep. Hunter, I mean, it is so, I look at a lot of my, the kids, and now we're getting pretty old and removed from high school, but a lot of kids I grew up with that, never touched a golf club, and girls included, and not just for college scholarships, but that's an option. If you're a decent female player that can shoot in the 80s, you're gonna probably get looked at by some Division II schools and NAIA for sure. But for business, right? I mean, to be able to go to those corporate scrambles and to be able to hold your own. I actually played in the Tournament of Champions Pro-Am over the weekend, and we had a female on our team that was very, very helpful because she could rip it. And I mean, that is something, in business that I think definitely gets overlooked when you're young. But as you get into your 20s and you're starting to get that first job, being able to have a golf IQ is huge, and I think gets you a step ahead of everybody else.
I've been telling kids for decades how important golf can be in your business career. I know a couple of guys that literally built their business careers on being excellent players. Not, they weren't good enough to be pro, but they played in a lot of events and, played in Michigan amateurs and stuff like that, because people always want to play with really good players. And the same holds true, especially for gals, to be able to play with your boss and put together a competent golf game can do wonders for your professional career. And you get to take some time off from work. Hey, Betty, we need a fourth out here tomorrow. What are you doing? Well, I've got some reports. Don't worry about the reports.
Yep. 100%. I mean, yeah, you have a competent golf game, and you can actually show that early on. Yeah, you're going to be the one that gets recruited. And it's kind of full circle for us, because what we do is we teach the life skills with golf, and there's there's just so many inherent things in the game of golf that translate to being a great person, being a great business person, being a great teammate, being a great employee, being a great boss. So many things that they can learn from golf, and we're just using golf to accentuate those things. So getting into golf, great, but getting into a first tee program is even better, because we're going to kind of give you skills that translate off the golf course as well.
Two things, Kev. I know you've got a couple of events coming up. We touched briefly on the big marathon of golf that's going to happen on Labor Day. That's a big fundraiser for you guys. That happens on what day of Labor Day do you do that on?
It is on Labor Day. It is on
Labor Day Monday.
Day. We play all 81 holes at the Highlands.
Yeah. So we will have you on again and talk about how people can make pledges to support that and raise some money for First Tee. But I know you have another outing that you're looking for sponsors or tee gifts.
Yeah, August 13th. We do our annual golf outing. This year we renamed it to the Curry Weed Memorial Golf Outing, and Curry was the visionary that brought First Tee to Northern Michigan in 2005. Curry passed away last year after a great life of philanthropy and great in business, and his family will be on hand, and we're actually going to give a couple of awards away to a couple of deserving kids in our organization that honor Curry and his late wife, Mary, as well. But August 13th, we have filled that. We've been full for probably about 2 weeks. But we definitely could use sponsorships. So there's whole sponsorships available. We also have a little chipping game that they play kind of as they're making the turn that can be sponsored as well. And then, we do an auction. So any items that people might want to donate that have value, we're looking kind of for experiences. That would be great. And then, anything to put in golf carts pre-round for goodie bags. We'll have about 136 golfers that day on August 13th. We're playing the Moore in Harbor Springs there, but they're going to attract people from all over Northern Michigan and outside of Northern Michigan as well. So any businesses that want to get eyes on their business, we would welcome that. But the time's running short on that too, because we got to get the signs made. So got about a week to sell those sponsorships. So
I've got a couple people I'm going to reach out to you and see if I can get you a couple of gifts.
Perfect. That's helpful.
Kevin McKinley, where do people find out more information about what's going on week to week, month to month at First Tee of Northern Michigan?
Yeah, we're a .org, so remember that. I'll say that up front, but First Tee northernmichigan.org, all spelled out. First Tee northernmichigan.org. That's the best place to find it. We're on the social medias. I have an intern this year that coaches for us, but is also doing a great job of keeping our Instagram and Facebook reels rolling as well. And we've done some great events that there's some pretty cool stuff out there. So,
do you have a name? What's the name for this high school prep program? Is that exactly what it's called?
Yeah, I don't remember it verbatim, but girls high school prep camp, something to that effect. It's August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
And then where's that taking place at?
It's going to be at the Highlands, at the Ross Golf Center at the Highlands.
Okay,
got about it half full. So there's about 5 kids that we can still put in that camp. So
all right, Kevin McKinley, thanks for joining us on Finding Fairways. Thanks for all you're doing to grow the game, especially here in Northern Michigan with our younger golfers.
Thanks, JC.
All right, we will be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Finding Fairways, brought to us by BoyneGolf.com.
Imagine your ultimate golf experience. There's a good chance it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. 11 spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, varied in both topography and play. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025. And the Highlands at Harbor Springs is the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11.
The Iron Pig on Old 27 South across from Otsego Lake is open for breakfast 7 days a week from 8 to 11. Sundays from 8 to 2 with a sumptuous breakfast buffet on the weekends. With golf season open, Iron Pig has room for any size golf group, or bring our delicious menu and legendary barbecue to your group. Either way, the Iron Pig has the team and location to make your up north dining experience truly memorable. Visit Iron Pig Smokehouse on Facebook, where we are always announcing new events and menu additions.
There's a moment on the course when everything lines up. The swing, the contact, the result. That's how we approach real estate. At Dean Bach & Company and at Properties, Christie's International Real Estate Collective, we don't guess, we execute. From Traverse City to Harbor Springs, we cover Michigan's Gold Coast with strategy, reach, and relationships that win. Whether it's a lakefront estate, a Gulf side retreat, or your next move, we put you in position to score.
Quit wasting time putting around and meet us at Wild Bluff Golf Course in Brimley, Michigan. Wild Bluff is a championship golf course with breathtaking views overlooking Lake Superior, with a full-length driving range, chipping area, and large putting green. Visit our fully stocked pro shop for featured golf apparel and equipment, or come to the loft to wine and dine like a pro. Like us on Facebook or visit baymillscasinos.com for more information. Your fairway to heaven starts here.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape every day. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort. Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
Grandview Golf Club in Kalkaska has set the standard for the best value golf in northern Michigan. Grandview has all the amazing golf vistas you expect in the pricey resorts without the pricey. Incredible season membership rates and ladies and men's leagues are now forming. Visit GrandviewGolfNorth.com to play your new favorite track. The newly renovated clubhouse with full bar and simulators is open and makes Grandview Golf Club an unforgettable golf experience. Call 231-258-3244 to play today.
Here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Jerry Coyne continuing his discussion with golf writer Lynn Henning. Yeah, that was the first year, going back to Crooked Stick, CBS was taking over the coverage of the PGA that year. And I knew some guys from CBS Sports that I was with at the Final Four, which was in Indiana that year. And the Sunday that we had off, they took out a whole bunch of people to play Crooked Stick. It was fairly new then. I think Pete Dye had only had the course open like 2 or 3 years. And I remember playing it. It was not a great day. It was, March in Indiana. It like 50 degrees and kind of drizzly. I was a pretty good player at the time, and I could not believe how long the golf course was. And that was the discussion when we came back in. They had a lunch. They had the guys from the PGA of America and the agronomy staff at Crooked Stick to answer questions and everything else. And I'm just thinking well, whoever hits the ball the farthest is going to win this tournament. And it turns out to be a guy named John Daly.
Well, and I forgot to mention to you too, Jerry, it was during the newspaper strike in Detroit from 95 to 98. And I, of course, observed that negotiation and stayed out. And then I needed work, and I went on a full-time job with Golf Week out of Orlando as their industry writer.
There you go.
And I covered, at that point, you remember, everybody was in on the golf boom on the equipment side, and got to know Ely Callaway quite well.
Wow, cool.
And of course, he and Daly had that relationship. That's what prompted that thought. But I'll never forget, it was the second, it was the second PGA merchandise show that I had covered with them. I'd been at that thing for years with PGA Magazine. But sure. I'm out there, and Ely's bringing out the biggest Big Bertha. Remember, that was his, obviously, the follow-up.
Yeah.
And we had a big invitational. The media were all invited out to one of the Disney courses. And they gave us all a new biggest Big Bertha. Well, I hadn't even, it was a shotgun start, and I started off on a short par 4, 272. And I hadn't even taken a practice swing with it. And I hit a drive, and I drove that green. And the next day, we're back at the show, and I was over at the Callaway and ran into Ely. And he was from Albany, Georgia. He had that soft, gentlemanly Georgia accent. And I said, Ely, I said, you won't believe this. I said, I hadn't even taken a practice swing. And I'm driving, and I said, I drove that short par 4 that we played on. Well, that's remarkable. So, I really enjoyed the relationship, professional relationship with him and with all the people in golf equipment back then when it was hot and everybody had some. Lynx was going and Wilson was big, and it wasn't everybody was coming aboard. And it was really fun. And there were so many golf balls, of course, back then too.
Yeah.
And,
there was a lot
of
all
whittled down.
Well, people are getting back into it. You've got PXG, making clubs, and now McLaren has this new club that Justin Rose has jumped on board. So it's kind of a fluctuating situation. Any thoughts? Speaking of that, what do you think about the golf ball rollback?
Well, I think in some respects, when you're going to continue to outmuscle these golf courses, and it's only going to get wider.
That much work? I mean, can guys hit it another 50 yards further, do you think?
We know, Jerry, just looking at the last 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah. I'll never forget, we're up at Grand Traverse Resort ahead of the Michigan Open in '89, and Bob Rosberg was the featured speaker. He was talking about Marion, how when he had played the Open there back in 60s, he had to play it with a driver 4-wood, and how now he was playing it with a driver 4-iron. And of course, that was significant for a guy even on his skill level. Well, this is all before any of the adjustments were really radically made, and they're still overpowering golf courses, and they're only going to continue. Look at the strength, the club head speeds, they're all going to continue to increase. In that context, I understand it. In the context, obviously, of all non-tour players, you don't need any rollback on the ball. Now, try to draw that distinction, but that's not going
to. Kevin Frisch, my co-host of this show.
Of course.
And there's a lot of people that are out right now talking about the fact that they shouldn't touch the golf ball. They should change the driver heads for the players.
Well,
and I don't know. Some of it makes sense to me. So I can't even hit it 250 off the tee box anymore, Lynn. So what do I care?
Yeah. Again, we're talking 100 players versus the rest of the golf universe.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you don't need to do anything for the rest of the golf universe. But I get it in the sense that we don't want to continue to see good golf holes reduced to rubble. Yeah. And yet, what are you going to do here? If it's possible to separate the spheres, then fine, but good luck doing that.
Yeah. And there's so much contention even between the tour players about the whole idea. And then Cam Young comes out and says, I've been playing this reduced ball and it hasn't affected me at all. So
yeah.
I got two last questions for you, Lynn Henning. First and foremost, have you played Oakland Hills since it was redone? Okay.
No, and living down here in Georgia, as I live on St. Simon's Island, I haven't played golf except last year. Played up at Boyne at the Ross course, and had the most fun day of my golf life. I was playing with two great friends, And it was just one of those immaculate days. But to your question, no, and I haven't, I'm interested in what they're doing with Detroit Golf Club. I want to see the amendments there. But no, and I would love to get out to Oakland Hills, of course, to see a redone course and the new clubhouse.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be back down. I haven't seen the clubhouse yet. I played the golf course, and I wasn't a big fan of how many trees Hands took out, and but that's a discussion. I don't want to. I've done that on the show too many times, and people are probably bored with it. So my last question for you, sir, is who is the most compelling figure in golf that you ever covered? And it doesn't have to be, like, oh, it was Arnie. Or Tiger. Is there somebody, maybe somebody a little off the radar that you really enjoyed or just thought, boy, this guy is a kick in the pants?
I'll give you two guys.
Okay.
David Graham and Tom Weiskopf. And I got to know them each a little bit. Weiskopf even more so when he was doing Cedar River.
What a great golf. That's my favorite golf course up here.
Well, and Tom was really not only, of course, the great player that he was, but he was really cerebrally a great designer. And he did believe, by the way, that his best work was done at Forest Dunes. He told me that personally. And
it's a fabulous golf course, no doubt about it.
And David Graham was also equally into golf design, and of course, a double major winner. And I found him always very compelling. Those are two examples. I think because he won three U.S. Opens and he was such a superb long iron player, an athlete, Hale Irwin belongs up there. He wasn't everybody's favorite personality, but I found him to be immensely fascinating, his skill level, and Crenshaw too. And Crenshaw, I can't say I knew him, but we talked for interviews one-on-one a couple of times, and I like Ben Crenshaw. I would offer those four, and I'm sure I'm leaving out some others.
Yeah, I mean, you could go dozens and dozens. I mean, Weiskopf, I played some of his golf courses. He's almost a semi-tragic figure as a player, just on the cusp of being so great. Yeah. Later on said that, his drinking probably held him back from winning some other tournaments. I mean, that was what, the 75 Master, or the 70 with him, Miller, right, and Nicklaus, maybe the greatest major of them all.
Yep.
But what a life in golf, Lynn. I want to thank you for always joining me on our sports show and your Tigers update. So here we are on the cusp, folks, and we don't know what'll happen when this show plays. Are they going to trade Scooble?
Yeah, I have been really advocating that, Jerry, because they can get a very, very good return on him. And you have to think about not the next 8 weeks as much as the next 8 years. And they can get personnel that are going to reinforce that roster in ensuing seasons. So I see it as a no-brainer. But that also, not to be self-promotional here, but this year I went on my own independently. I write Tigers Intelligence Report.
Yeah, I know. I've checked it out. It's really good.
Substack.com. And just to explain for those who might have said, well, where's your minor league coverage that perhaps we used to read all the time in the Detroit News? And there was no split with the Detroit News. It was anything other than simply a responsible business decision that we are in wonderful, wonderful kinship there and always will be. So I had nothing to do with that. But Tigers Intelligence Report on Substack.com. That's what I'm doing now, and that's why I've been writing this week about Scooble so much, back to your question.
Yeah. I just don't know if it's all the talk on 97 won the ticket, and it's just, and should they pitch him today on Wednesday here? Sure. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they have the guts to do it. If they win today, if they sweep the Athletics, do they figure that they can have another magical run? They probably do.
Well, and really, Jerry, I don't think it's contingent on Scooble alone.
No,
remember,
it's not.
He's playing once every 5 days. What are you doing the other 4? And that's why I think they have to be very visionary about this. And they'll have enough pitching to get them by. But also Mize could fetch a pretty penny at the deadline. Again, I think, Jerry, you got to play for ensuing seasons and not just for the couple of months remaining in this season.
Lynn, I will have you on Friday Face-Off again soon. But thanks so much for joining us on Finding Fairways. Fascinating discussion. I really appreciate your time.
Always enjoy the conversation, Jerry, and it's so good to talk again about golf in Michigan. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Finding Fairways, brought to us. Time to head back to Wild Bluff Golf Course with head pro Matt Phipps. We're going to play the 9th hole, a monster of a par 5. Just wanted to tell you folks, you Finding Fairways fans, there's some great packages that just became available at Bay Mills Resort and Casino. They have golf stay and play packages that start at one overnight and rounds of golf at $281 per person. So you should check that out. Go to baymillscasinos.com. Let's head to the 9th hole.
Here we are at number 9 at Wild Bluff. Matt Phipps. So the 4 finishing holes are 3-5, 3-5, 2 man-sized par 5s. We're playing this one from the whites, but that goes all the way back to 555. I just hit a pretty decent drive off those bunkers on the left. And Matt says, go ahead, tell us the little pro tip here, Matt.
I'm going to try to go around just to the left of that tree on the right side of the fairway. It's hard to see, but there's a little speed slot there that if you can
get it about another 15, 20 on it.
At least that, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Thanks for telling me.
Man, looks right now.
Matt, we missed the speed slot by a couple inches.
We did. Not too bad, though. Still got a shot at the green here. It's a hard green to hold from this distance. We got about 215.
But it looks like you wouldn't fly it onto the green from here anyways, right? You got a lot of room between that crick and up there. I would imagine you want it maybe 5-10 yards short of the green.
That's ideal, yeah. It's a huge ravine up there, so looking kind of left side of the green there. Plenty of fairway there. Should be an easy trip back up.
Nice looking hole. Nice front 9 finisher.
Don't forget to go to Bay Mills Casinos and check out all the new stay and play packages posted there for a great month and a half for the last 2 months of the golf season. You won't believe the brand new hotel right on Lake Superior and how fantastic the Wild Bluff Golf Course is. That's going to do it for Finding Fairways. As we like to say, find a fairway of your own, stick a peg in the ground and pound it down the middle at Wild Bluff Golf Course. We'll be back next week here on Up North Sports Radio's Finding Fairways.
Imagine your ultimate golf experience. There's a good chance it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. 11 spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, varied in both topography and play. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025. And the Highlands at Harbor Springs is the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11.